Welcome back to JoJo's Bizarre Adventures Anime Review. This is special number 17. Not special. This is episode number 17. I think it's special for the High School DxD. This is reviewing 10 of JoJo's Adventure Golden Wind. This is the 10th episode of that, but the 123rd episode of the series, Hitman Team. Yep. This one's adapted from chapters 472 to 474 of the JoJo's Bizarre Adventures manga. And it looks like it starts adapting chapter 275. Pretty much this episode picks up right where last week's episode left off with Nephrim, I think it's pronounced. Yeah, the guy who looks like a girl. It's Narukana. Yeah. This guy is kind of an idiot. He doesn't notice the fact he's shrinking at all until he notices that he can't even fit his own shoes or hold up his switchblade and hold up his knife. I thought it was a switchblade. Looking at it, it looks like a regular pocket knife, basically, where you just pull the blade out. That's what it looks like to me. And the reason he's shrinking, because he got cut by the other guy's stand, which is known as the little feet. Yeah. His stand, which is known as the little bomber, it has another name called Aerosmith. Yeah, I'm not kidding about this. It's called Identity Force Aerosmith. So we have the third stand in this particular thing named after a rock band. First it's Black Sabbath, and then it's Sex Pistols. Now we have Aerosmith. I've heard of Aerosmith. I know of them. I've never listened to music. They're pretty much a little more well known than, let's say, the Sex Pistols. And Aerosmith is still around. They don't, as far as I know, I don't think they actually make any more albums anymore, but they're still around. Yeah. I don't know much about the band anyway, aside from the fact they're a good rock band, from what I've heard. I've never listened to music. Black Sabbath, never listened to music. And it's kind of the same thing with Sex Pistols. Never listened to music. Just seeing that one biopic about their former lead singer, Sid Vicious. Yeah, this one. Yeah, apparently the guy goes Nefercam is shrinking with a guy in his pocket, and how he figures out he's actually in his pocket is actually quite interesting. It deals with his stand. They even show his stand how he sort of basically also can land on the guys. He can also use his arms and shoulders as a runway strip. Yeah, he actually can use it to do that and doesn't hurt him at all. So he wants to call for backup. And he goes there, he basically tries to step in the automatic door. He can't open it, but he figures out an ingenious way to, well, first he stops and the door closes like really quickly. But then he figures out an ingenious way to get through the door. Why? Shooting it, of course, with his little bomber. And he climbs up, apparently he's still shrinking, and they even had a little caption like how tall he is at this particular moment. So the little bomber blasts through the telephone, get the coinage. He's about to make a call, and the phone line is cut. Then, of course, he sort of figures out, and at first, the other guy is like, how in the world is he finding out where I am? And later on, he figures out his breathing. Yes, that is how he's tracking him through all the oxygen he's basically consumed. And eventually falls to first he jumps off and he fires him when he catches his hand, and he goes to a sign. Of course, he also puts a ballpoint pen in from his hand. Then he goes outside, goes outside, gets shot out through that, ends up in the drainage, grate. That gets shut up, and of course he continues shooting at him, and of course gets shut up, and then of course he indirectly shoots up rats. They even show how he's actually tracking him with this little special radar tracking device. Excuse me. Eventually he does find him due to the fact there's a rat who's heavily breathing because, well, the guy weighs a ton. So he does eventually shoot him. He first shoots him in the leg, and he blasts some holes in him too. And he's still alive, despite the fact he's been shot up. But in this episode, they also show the Hitman team's, like his team's backstory in the way, where it's set 2 years prior to the events of this particular thing, which that means that this particular flashback takes place at around the same time as Diamond's Unbreakable. Yeah, it takes place around the same time as that. Because this whole season is set 2 years after Diamond's Unbreakable. Where, apparently, because his group tried to find the boss's identity, two of the members who apparently were in a relationship. Yeah, where they killed one guy by, I kid you not, this is how they killed him. They basically chopped him up very slowly, which I'm like, disgusting. Yeah, normally the series has some gross stuff, but not this disgusting. Yeah, I'm a little surprised it's made this into the anime, especially since, well, this is a very grotesque scene. How they revealed the fact he was chopped up they do this via some picture frames that are sent from some unknown sender. It's rumored to be the actual boss who sent it because apparently the boss identity is so secret, nobody knows who he is or what the heck he looks like. Yeah. And of course, these people find out he has a daughter, so they go after him. As for Trish herself, she shows up for a couple quick scenes, and that's it. We have some of them talking like they're really worried what's going on from him, and they don't decide to go after him. Yeah, they just stick at the house. What, do these guys only have one car? I mean, I would assume because Baraki is a capo, he would get several cars, not just one shiny car, which was shut up in the last episode. Yeah, so they all just sit there, doing nothing but having a quick little conversation. I mean, I would think though, Gudo, who's the main JoJo for this particular, I figured out he would just volunteer to go out and go find him, even though that one member doesn't exactly trust him because he's new. He doesn't know who he is. Yeah. So overall, it was an okay episode, but unlike the last few the last few things they've done for this particular season, this is not a two-parter. Nope. This is stretched out to a third episode. Yeah, first in this particular season, because first we have overall we've had 4 straight two-parters, and now we're going to a third episode for this particular arc. For this particular portion of this part. Yeah. So this was an okay episode. I just think as though, now this is probably a weakness for this particular arc. The fact that a lot of the time that the main JoJo doesn't get a lot of focus. As a matter of fact, he doesn't do much of anything. I mean, take a look at, let's say, these past 2 episodes. He doesn't do much of anything. At all. Which is kind of dumb. He's the main character. He doesn't do much of anything. I mean, take a look, let's say, the one from the previous part. He took part in at least a good chunk of the episodes. Maybe 1 or 2 he didn't take part in, but at least he was there. And he actually was involved with the actual plot of the actual episode. This one seems like after the first 2 episodes, he very rarely takes part. I mean, get the fact he's trying to develop all these supporting characters. Which, by the way, this is actually the most I've actually had. Because let's say part 3, for example, where you had a total number of 5 people. And you could chance to see some development for them, but not where you almost every character get a flashback. In the case of this one, this particular thing, I think 2 of the members you get a chance to see their flashbacks, Etros, I think his name is, you get to see his flashback. I forgot, I think you saw his flashback in the last episode. So yeah, only about, I would say, out of all the members of this particular team, I would say at least 2 of them so far you get a chance to see their backstory. But it's odd though, you get a chance to see the backstory for the villains of a particular arc for this particular for this particular section, yeah, it's a little weird, but at least kind of explains who the heck these people are. Yeah, otherwise that's really it for this particular review. Yeah, this was just an okay episode. It's not as good as the other ones because it just felt like this. Though I thought this would wrap up after 2 episodes, but no, it looks like it's stretching out for a third, maybe even 4th one. I don't remember how long this arc is, but I have read this particular portion. It's been a year since I read this thing last year. Yeah, I read part 5 a while ago, and I don't exactly remember every single portion of this arc. I mean, there's a portion I remember. I remember that Trish is a stand user. I remember that. They figured this out very bizarrely. Now, I can spoil that because I have read the manga. Yep. But this is what I figured out later, and I know for fact that Ponderev shows up in this particular part as well. Yeah, he shows up. Yeah, I don't remember exactly when he shows up, but he does show up in this particular thing, and he acts sort of as a mentor to the main character. Mm-hmm. So he shows up later. I don't remember when he shows up, but he does show up. Oh yeah, and something really weird happens to him. Yeah, though after this part, he is never seen again in the manga because after part 6, the series was rebooted for some reason. I don't know why. I'm still stuck in part 6. Okay, so that's it for this particular review. Stay tuned tomorrow while I do at least reviews for. I think it's like just one manga review tomorrow, and that's My Hero Academia. Oh yeah, I'm also gonna do Attack on Titan because that apparently got released this week. So I'm gonna do My Hero Academia, Attack on Titan, and Volume 24, the light novel for High School DxD, and maybe a comic corner if I get a chance to read a couple of trades. But until we see you in the next review, bye.